All right, so this is the second part of our video. In this piece, we're just going to discuss the introduction to the business discipline. So, if you think about a discipline, we're usually referring to some type of path of study or some type of career that people are engaged in. So, obviously, you've chosen business as your major, meaning that you are interested in building a career in this path of study. So the way this piece of the work was set up for us was that it was actually supposed to be speed networking, which is almost like, I guess, speed dating if you've ever been involved in something like that. So basically, the way it works is that people sit at a chair or something, and then they kind of rotate, and everybody has a few minutes to discuss themselves with someone else. So obviously, because we're not meeting tomorrow, we're not going to be able to interact with each other in that sense, but you can still go through and think about these questions and answer them so that you can submit your answers to me next week. So, easy stuff like what is your name? That shouldn't be too hard to answer. How would you define, sorry, there's a typo here, how would you define business or the business discipline, right? So you can look up online, or you can just write down what you think business is. Normally we think about things like an exchange of goods and services. Sometimes it can be for profit, sometimes it's non-profit. So whatever you think business is, and the business discipline again is really to do with the study of business, which is what you're engaged in. What skills and characteristics do you think you need to succeed in business? So, yeah, I'd like you to take some time to think about um, what makes for a successful business person. In fact, you might even benefit from thinking about someone in your life that you know who's a good business person, or you might think of, some celebrity or some, business mogul that you know, and think about what some of the skills and characteristics are that they have, or that you may have read that they have, that have made them successful. And also try and think about what you might have or need yourself. Now, remember, it's not just the technical skills like being able to crunch all the numbers, or being able to do all the strategy. There's also non-technical skills involved, like being able to interact with other people, work in groups, being able to lead effectively, being able to communicate well, both verbally and non-verbally, also being able to write and things of that nature. So try and think about some of the skills that you may need, and note them down. What will happen in the end is we'll also talk later on in the semester about the types of skills that you're expected to learn while you're at LaGuardia, and so we'll see how those tie in with the business discipline as well. And then the fourth part is basically tying back to kind of what we were saying in number 3. If you were thinking about a person that you admire when you were thinking about skills and characteristics, then you can mention this person, a business person that you admire, and why. It can be anybody. It could be someone who, has been in business for years. If you think of like a Warren Buffett, it could be someone that has just started, a very successful business recently. It might be a startup. It could be someone in your life, a family member, parent, whomever that has their own business. It doesn't matter. We're not looking necessarily for name brands. Just trying to think of who you admire and who you would like to emulate. And then if it is a person who has social media, asking if you follow them on social media. And the reason for that is just about trying to tap into what people who we admire are thinking and doing, so that we may also be able to begin to think and do similar things. And often social media is a space where people are more prone to share some of their thoughts, and you might be able to learn from them. So yes, you'll be sharing this information. It was set up for you to be sharing with other classmates, but of course, we can't do that tomorrow. We may see for the next time when we meet if we can share a few people's thoughts on some of the answers to these questions. So again, as it relates to submission, just type or write your answers to these questions. I wouldn't try to write it in the teeny tiny space next to the question. Try and you can even use this electronic document and just type below the question, but be ready to submit your answer to me when we meet again. Thanks.